I think the most important thing is for us to recognize with great speed is that we are all one, and come together and start to fellowship in ways that allow us to have peace, allow us to experience and share more love. Because if AI and machines are going to be doing all the work, all we then have to do is just find ways to enjoy life together, enjoy the human experience.
Aloe Blacc, thank you very much for joining us on The Record. Nice to see you at Web Summit.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
You're clearly more than a musician, more than an award-winning musician. You are now involved in tech. Can you just tell me about your relationship with it and why you're here at Web Summit?
Yeah, well, I really do appreciate technology and how it's aided the work that I do with music. But aside from that, as a father, I recognized when my wife and I were beginning to start our family that I wanted to record every moment of being a parent in the most robust, immersive way. And I started looking at this technology that cameras were able to film in 360 degrees. And that's when I really started to dive in and invested in a company called Gyroptic that was making 360-degree camera footage that you could see everything that was happening in the room at the time. I have footage of my kids crawling when they were just little babies, but the entire room, everything. And that to me was super special.
Was that from the view of the child, or can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I would put the camera down at the view of the child, and it's just special because you can go back, you put on the goggles, you look at it, and you're like, wow, I remember those moments, and I could be face to face with my baby, and then turn around and be in the room that we were in, and I can have my kids go back and see themselves as toddlers, in those moments. To me, it was like, that's the future. The future is not just 2D memories. It's robust, immersive, deeply rich memory recording.
So it's an emotional tie why you've made this investment.
Absolutely.
Because this is my third Web Summit, and I normally look through the names and who's going to be here, who we'd like to talk to. And your name comes up, and we see other musicians as well. And you just think, why are they getting involved in tech? Is this like a cash grab thing or is it a trend? Is it because, tech is really sexy now? But
for some folks it is. Some people never tire of trying to make more money.
And
my whole paradigm is about impact. The things that matter to me are what are ways that we can connect better with the human beings that we see and engage with all the time, the people that we love and the people that we can learn to love, that we don't know. And when the other tech company that I'm engaged with is a biotech company. So during the pandemic, I had been vaccinated and boosted, and I still got COVID. And I thought, well, mRNA technology is great, but what we really want as a public is a prophylactic, something that'll stop us from getting sick, not just something that helps us get over the sickness faster. So I was doing a lot of research, reading a bunch of different papers, and I found...
You have time to do that while you're touring? And
no, when I was in bed sick with COVID.
Oh, sorry, yes, this was during COVID. Sorry, my bad.
I was sitting in bed and reading all of the papers that I could about all of the new technologies that were coming out to deal with infectious disease, and I had an idea. If the virus never enters the cell, then it cannot replicate. And so if it doesn't replicate, it does not trigger the immune response that causes the disproportionate sickness symptoms that we get, and would probably save a lot of lives. So I found a paper where the scientist, Dr. Gomika Udugamasoria at the University of Houston, was using this novel molecular class called peptoids to block the interphase of spike protein and the ACE2 receptor. And I thought, this is the game changer. I emailed him. I invested some money in some more research. It was successful. And I helped him stand up a company so that we could take his technology to the next level.
So that started from 2020 and we're in 2026 now.
We're in 2026 now. Obviously, there's no pandemic.
Well, yeah.
Not the one that we were working on, but because for 20 years he'd already been working in this modality for cancer, we pivoted, and we've got 4 assets aimed at cancer, one of which is targeting KRAS, which is, not to get into the weeds of things, but it's implicated in many different types of solid tumor cancers. And he's got a molecule that can neutralize the wild type and the mutations that this specific KRAS protein does, which has been the elusive implication in pancreatic cancer.
When it comes to cancer, the big C, it can touch anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter what status you have in life, if you have money, if you don't. When it comes to your company, the company that you've invested in, how are you trying to democratize the health space? I mean, are you looking at marginalized communities with the investments as well? Can help someone that doesn't have healthcare? It's really hard for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I think the beauty of what Dr. Urugama Soria has come up with is that it really does shrink the cost and timing of what it is required in order to make a therapeutic. And because of that, those savings get passed on to everyone who ends up being able to be administered this therapeutic. Now, it doesn't require, because of the cost savings, it doesn't require that we focus on any specific underrepresented demographic. What I find really, really intriguing is that this is an opportunity to first go after, let's say, rare cancers, because
Rare cancers like
these, like a pancreatic, like pancreatic cancer, because and very tough cancers, because if we can prove in vivo, as we have done with mice, but in vivo in humans, that we can destroy the tumors in pancreatic cancer, we then have one step closer to showing that it will work in non-small cell lung cancer, and showing that it will work in colorectal cancer, and so forth and so on. So ultimately, there are many modalities out there that work for cancer. I'm super gung-ho about the one that I'm invested in and that I started a company for. Peptoid Bio is the company. But I'm also excited about like Anktiva. Patrick Soon-Shiong, the owner of the LA Times, he has a brilliant immunotherapy that's working in bladder cancer. He's been approved in Saudi Arabia, approved in the United States, approved in the UK, and he wants to extend that approval to other indications. But the way that the FDA works is, it's one indication at a time, but the mechanism ultimately is the same for the other cancers. So the idea that it's not approved or that we have these regulatory hurdles, it's mind-boggling. I think we need to apply, like you coming to Web Summit, hearing so much about AI and technology, we need to be applying AI somewhere in the regulatory process so that we can move things along faster, extrapolate all the extremities that are non-issues, and get really, really focused on how technology can help move us forward in approving drugs faster.
Well, speaking of AI and tech, and yes, it is moving at a rapid pace. Some people might think it's moving too fast. Who's the onus on when it comes to regulation? Is it the investors? Is it governments? Is it, I don't know, do you have to start another entity to actually oversee AI tech, especially when it comes to health as well?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've seen that AI isn't totally perfect, right? There's the hallucination issues. And you don't want that to happen in a regulatory process where the AI signs off on approving a drug and there's no human at the wheel. Then somebody takes the drug and ends up having some really terrible side effects or even death. that is the major purpose to have a regulatory body and have humans that are moving at a snail's pace to make sure nobody gets hurt. Nobody wants to be the last signature on someone dying because of a therapeutic that they took. But I really do feel strongly that we're going to get to a place where and I think we are at it right now, where technology can be aiding and buttressing the process with the human at the end of the loop to have the final say. But we can move through a lot of therapeutics much faster to get to the end result, especially the ones that have already been approved for use in one indication and have shown in phase 1 trials that they're safe in human. It only makes sense to apply them, to extend them to other indications.
Okay. I believe you've said that you believe you should use tech as a tool for social justice. I was just wondering if you could just tell us more about that and what does justice look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, justice ultimately is for everyone to recognize that we're all equal, right?
But some people...
And we all are born into and conditioned into our tribes. But when you realize that we all bleed the same blood, the idea of using technology to level the playing field and give us that better sense of our humanity.
But how do you do that? I mean, look at the time we're living in right now. It's very, everyone in this room right now, we all believe the same thing, but we're so polarized. So how do you get people together again?
Yes, I feel like what's happening right now is like this growing pain of technology. It's a growing pain that is sort of like in the, during puberty and you're having mood swings and all. Technology is, we are confronted with our futility because AI is showing us that it can do everything. And with robotics, we'll be able to basically do anything and we won't need the human. At that point, what do humans do? I think the most important thing is for us to recognize with great speed is that we are all one and come together and start to fellowship in ways that allow us to have peace, allow us to experience and share more love. Because if AI and machines are going to be doing all the work, all we then have to do is just find ways to enjoy life together, enjoy the human experience.
Have you ever thought about being a therapist? I can listen to you talk all day. I can tell you all my problems, and I think they'll all go away.
I'm an optimist. I know that for sure.
You really are.
Because I believe that everything that we want to see in life is possible. You have to dream it, and it can be possible. I was thinking about it the other day. You know, the greatest inventors of the industrial age and prior, they had ideas, and they believed in their ideas, and they marched toward those ideas with steadfast certainty. And if you don't march toward the ideas that you believe are possible, then you're leaving all possibility to chance. And I think better to know what you want and march towards it than to not do it at all. And unity and justice is that thing.
Indeed. Aloe Blacc, you are a man of many hats, many skills. I really do appreciate you coming on the record today. Thank you.
Thank you.